Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee in my new cute little mug that I got, but don't tell my husband. Actually, he broke another cup yesterday, so there was a little more room in the cupboard. I got this before then, but anyway, it's just a cute little comfortable mug to hold. And I'm finding that the bigger mugs of coffee that I used to love, I just don't drink like that anymore, that same kind of amount. So, how has this full moon been for you? It has been quite intense, to say the least. And lot of old stuff. Remember, the full moon is a time of endings, it's a time of release. And so, in order to know what we need to release, a lot of old stuff ends up coming up for us. And remember, that is truly what happens when you enter in to a new way of living, into standing in your power, opening up to the truth of who you really are. The old things come up for you to release, but you have to know they're there. And the knowing that they're there can be an incredibly challenging time when we want to run, hide, check out, give up. We listen to these old tapes going inside our head, the old beliefs, but remember, they're coming up for you to know that they are still within you and they can now be released when they're at the highest, when you're feeling the worst about yourself or about whatever is going on with you at that point. When you're likely feeling the weakest is when you can really dive in and choose to release those things that no longer serve you in any way. Remember, a lot of the things went in as children. And then, of course, there's the ancestral energy we brought through that is very similar in times to the struggles that we have because we brought it through from them. And then there's past life. So these things can come from many different angles, and it really doesn't matter. It just can be incredibly uncomfortable. And for many of us, it has been. I talked about, I think I did on the last video, we talked about the camping weekend I had with my family, which was lovely. But I felt very much on the outside looking in. And that's actually not a bad place to be. That is the observer. I was observing everyone else. I was observing me and my response. So during that camping trip, I didn't feel down. I didn't feel shameful. I didn't feel these things that I could have been feeling, but I also prepared myself going in because I knew there were some elements that were going to trigger some of these things. I don't honestly know how I prepared. Probably just the knowing that they were likely to come up was helpful. But when I got home that evening, it was like, poof, all the old stuff was there and fulminating in me and not an enjoyable experience at all. And so I went into okay, these are the things that are coming up for me, so I can release them now. I can allow them to leave my field, but they came up for me. And I had a visit last night with a friend who really, she just really started this journey of self-healing and no longer wanting to live in this very heavy, not kind energy she'd been in her whole life. And this full moon, in like 3 different ways for her, brought up what was the biggest energy weighing her down. And that's, we visited about that last night. And the reason it was for her, God brought it to her in 3 different aspects for her to fully understand that this is a very present thing, and now she can choose to let it go. And so that is always a choice, choosing to let it go. So as we journey with this, it is still very intense energy, and a good time to release, because that intensity can be that extra fuel to let go of these things. The overarching theme in this reading is faith. These beautiful, beautiful, what is it? Dreams of Gaia tarot cards. Faith. And this is faith, not just in God, that they're working on our side, but faith in you. As you enter into this time of choosing to change how you walk in this world, it is faith that you want to have. I'm sorry, I have a visitor in my office this morning who spent the night. And so there's some little noises in the background, distractions that can kind of pull me off task. To have faith is a beautiful thing. It inspires a feeling of serenity that is unshakable. With faith in yourself and your abilities, you stand a greater chance of having success in many areas of your life. On the other hand, a lack of self-belief or faith can be seen in our moods, the way we speak about ourselves, our body language, and actions. Without faith and belief in self, every decision can become an almost excruciating process. And that's where many of us have been right now, is that lack of faith. And then with the old things coming up for us, we either hit them head on with the choice to release, or we allow them to weigh us down and we grovel and we snivel, we roll up into a ball on the couch and, feel sorry for ourselves and all of that. And we've done that many times throughout our lives. But when you enter into the choice of living a life of greater connection, a greater influence in the world, just greater energy in a higher vibration, the things that are keeping you in lower vibration are going to be shown to you. So this stuff that you've been experiencing has been for you. And I know it's a little hard to wrap your head around, but the next card that came up was Vision Quest. And that has to do with, can I get this? No, it says Vision Quest at the top there. Trust me. As you've entered into this choice of living more in your power, changing how you have lived your life in powerlessness or old false beliefs, this is a vision quest. And there are going to be these times of challenge and pain and doubt and sadness and anger and all of that surrounding ourselves, because these are the things that are weighing us down and holding us back. When you start to stand in your power, you can look at it as a tax from the outside, but it isn't a tax. It is Creator bringing up where you have been, what you've been traveling with, what has been held on your shoulders, so that you can choose to release it. And, I've been putting out about these retreat coming up, and they're so powerful for releasing, for learning what your power is in your life and in the world, and learning how to continually walk with the tools. And the tools are probably the biggest thing that you want to collect to work with yourself and maybe with others, depending on what your desire was when you chose to come in this lifetime now. And when you're walking that walk, that vision quest, there are going to be times of euphoria, and there are going to be the times when you can't hardly crawl out of the hole that you've put yourself back into. But the hole gets shallower each time. I tell people when I work with them energetically, a lot of times I will remember to tell them that what we do here today is a huge, big release of these couple energies. It's like the cork coming out of the bottle. These will come up again because they went in over time. They're not all going to leave at once, but now they're going to be a gentler form, and you are going to enact your power to let go of this energy, and you'll have tools to do it with. That's the point of the retreat. So if you've been thinking about it, and if you've been struggling here and you want to shift your life, sign up for the retreat. The next card that came up was Remember Your Wings. That is that amazing aspect of you that can soar above. And, I talked a little bit about becoming the observer. As you do your work, you will be able to pull yourself out. Like I said, I knew this weekend had the potentiality for really just beating me up, me beating me up. And because I knew that and chose not to be drug into the fray within myself, I was able to be the observer. So it's like you lift yourself up with impartiality, without all of the emotion, and you see things as you're perceiving them. Like I said, I felt very much like I was on the outside looking in, and very disconnected to what was going on. It wasn't a bad thing, and it was a lovely weekend with lovely people, and I had a nice time. But that was how I felt. Now, had I not known and acknowledged the likelihood of what was going to come up, the old patterns, for me, it was a huge load of shame and not enoughness. And we all, not we all, but many of us travel with the I'm not enough energy. And so I knew that. So I was able to just observe how I walked through this weekend, what was present for me. And then when I got home, this full moon energy coming in on Sunday, the full moon was Monday. I I hit the depths of despair. Another layer of shame came up, another layer of wanting to run away because it's too much for me, these feelings. And, again, we're all human, and the human aspect is the hardest part. And so, this remembering your wings is you can fly above it and have that higher perspective, that observer perspective, open, willing, ready. Show me how to be the observer of my life, because then it's less personal, and you can, and you definitely recognize it more quickly, and you can then choose to release those energies. We are still very much in that full moon energy. I urge you to write down the things that have come up for you, just in one word if necessary, and then burn that with the intention that you are releasing that energy to the light, to the heavens, and you're returning that junk part to the earth as ashes. And the next card that is coming up is use your cunning in dicey situations, which we will be faced with many of them in the next few months. Things that are going to produce response. Use your intuition, use that knowing, start to begin to trust it more. Again, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm ready. Show me that, give me that tap on the shoulder. Show me when I'm being prompted to look at this from my power rather than under the circumstances or as a victim. That knowingness that you have to begin to really trust yourself in this process of walking through the fire, which is where we're all at. But when you have the tools, you won't be consumed nearly as long in the fiery aspect. So know that having tools to work your energy is a huge gift as you walk through this life you chose to step into. And then the next card, beautiful, beautiful card. Look, I can see all these flowers. Heed your wisdom. Somewhat of the same message as to use your cunning. But no, you have the opportunity to bring up your inner wisdom. And some of you out there may be going, I'm not very wise. It's like you have access to the wisdom. Excuse me, the wisdom of the universe. And so your open, willing, and ready guides come in and activate that wisdom as I walk forward here in the everyday that can tend to just really lay us out flat at times, but at other times can really elevate us and help us to see the truth of who we really are in the world and what we chose to do here, what path you came to live and create in this world, because you did choose and you are vital to the unfolding of what is coming. And again, right now we're in that third stage. We're kind of right in the middle of this third stage of our birthing process. Maybe not quite in the middle of it. We're still a little bit on the not quite at 50%, but it's the most painful time. It is the time that is going to rock our worlds personally, worldwide. both is going to be happening, and it's really beginning to happen. The world is beginning to erupt, and it has to, in order to make way for this new way of living. The how of all of it, I have no idea, and I have given up needing to know the how, because the truth is, the creator, the universe, the wisdom that is there has the how of what needs to happen. That guiding, wise parental unit that we call God, creator, the universe. Does not matter what you call them. It is that you call them that gives you the things you need in the moment. And sometimes that is doing some box breathing to bring yourself back down and into yourself instead of this spiral of anxiety that can take you out of the truth. And you need to begin, or you can choose to, let's put it that way. You can choose to begin releasing the energies, the beliefs, the emotions, the feelings. They're all just energy. And you can choose to let them go by your words, by your intentions, asking your guides, angels, companions in to make you very aware of what the energy is present. You know, when I work with people doing energy work, we really just dig into the energies, tease them out, find all the energies involved, and really just release a big chunk. But you don't have to do that to be effective in your own self-work. You can release layers at a time that come up for you. I love the big chunks because it makes getting through to that next. Take a deep breath, settle in, enjoy life for a bit, you know, all the beauty that it's bringing to you, and prepare yourself with tools to be ready for the next one, whatever that looks like for you. And then the last card that came up was rain and purification. That is truly what we need to be doing, is releasing, getting out into Mother Earth, getting our feet into the grass, on the dirt, sitting next to a tree, getting your feet in a river if you can. Water is very cleansing. And just use some tools to release, to purify yourself from the remnants of what just came up for you to be released. So this whole aspect of things coming up for you is all about you standing in your power and not falling into the victim powerlessness. My path, my passion is to positively impact the world and introduce people to their own powerful truth, that we have all the tools we need. There's no one else that has to do this in order for us to be okay. We certainly can utilize and want to the others in the world that can help us, because perspective is huge. It is, you know, that forest. I can't see the forest because of all these trees around me. But that observer perspective helps us see the forest, helps remove us from that inner fray and that angst and the spiral. So ask, help me to begin to see my life from an observer aspect, and you will get the inklings and the beginnings of that. So a very powerful, empowered reading this morning as we move away from the intensity of this full moon and into some time of a little more settled within us. But no, the world is not going to settle for a while. The world is going to be up in upheaval. That's why you want to use your own energy to keep yourself in a place of greater balance. And sometimes that means the old stuff comes up so you can get rid of it. And that's what has really happened big time on this full moon. It will happen at other times, but the full moon will really shine the light on the old, what is to go. As we move into the new moon on, I believe it's September 2nd, that is when you create, when you choose to move forward with greater power, and you choose to focus on whatever you've been wanting to create and live within your life. You focus on how amazing that is. So I believe we are complete for this incredible day ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.